Now then, guys, got a bit of a different episode today. Completely solo. It's just me on my own. Got a little bit of news, a little bit of podcast, a little bit about my life, about my business, about kind of everything that's going on with me, and kind of everything moving forward. Um, some of it's a little bit sad, uh, more so for me than anything, um, and but some of it's also exciting. So, I'm gonna get into it. Um, yeah, if you listen to the podcast, listen to the past couple of episodes, the one with myself, my partner, my friend on, mentioned I part run a coffee shop. So I part own it, I run it, the head chef. I've done a lot in terms of putting stuff into the business when it comes to food. Some other stuff as well when it comes to designs, merchandise, things like that. And yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. Like, not gonna lie, the shop's amazing. Been a little bit reluctant to talk about it, only well for a couple of reasons. Uh, the first reason was the direction of the podcast. I didn't know which direction this was going to go in. I kind of had a little bit of I guess a bit of a chip on my shoulder in terms of like hospitality. I've been getting a little bit sick of working in hospitality. I've been in it for 20 years, and not necessarily because of customers, more so because of myself, because of what I can kind of give to it in terms of my body, in terms of my mentality. So I started off the podcast with the idea of it kind of being a bit of a more of a comedy entertainment podcast. It was getting funny stories from people I knew that worked in places, from places that I've worked in, kind of like horror stories of the industry, like things that will make you shock, things that will make you laugh. And it it's quite difficult to find those types of stories. It's quite difficult for people to want to share that type of thing, especially considering some of it can be quite personal, a little bit traumatic. It's also hard for people to listen to, and people want to come home and want to relax and want to be entertained and not kind of have to live back through those kind of things. So from the first episode, I kind of realized that it's not what I wanted to do either. Not what I wanted to do with this podcast. Like, I spoke on my podcast before about me, that like I'm quite quick to change and adapt, and um, if I'm not happy in circumstances, and that was one that I wasn't, and it was one that my business partner wasn't really on board with either from the coffee shop when I first started the idea of this. That's why I didn't explain what the business was as such. Obviously, I explained that it was a coffee shop, but I didn't explain what it was called. I was keeping it a little bit anonymous to start off with, just because I didn't want to like offend anybody in like the local area, any of my customers that I might have kind of been like telling stories about, but not telling their names, not sort of divulging anything. But it could offend people, so it was totally understandable. But I spoke a little bit more about it on the last podcast, kind of what it kind of gave to me, and kind of what I get from it. And yeah, so I'm kind of going to put it out there. So I like part own off the ground coffee shop. Absolutely amazing little place in Middlesbrough. Unbelievable coffee. Like, my business partner just knows what he's doing with that. We've got an unbelievable like roasters that we use. That's like probably the best in the UK. Like, I might be a bit biased on that one because obviously we use it anyway, but like, we use Origin Coffee and it is unbelievably fantastic. Like, they're just doing massive things at the moment. I'm hopefully having the representative for the northeast, for the north, for Scotland, for the lakes on in a couple of weeks, and she's going to be telling me about some absolutely amazing places around all of those places, and kind of what she does and what the Origin does as a business, hopefully. So we'll get a little bit more insight into that, and hopefully that'll kind of like give you a bit more insight into our love for coffee and like the shop's love for what it does. So yeah, that's out of the bag. Obviously, anybody that listens to this or watches it anyway probably knows that where I work, where I run, what I do anyway. So yeah, it was a little bit daft of me to not be able to explain, but at the same time, it was totally understandable. And obviously, there's been a turning point in this podcast for me, and it was the fact that I realized I could like highlight people and I could actually do more with this, and it will probably and hopefully go way further than just me sat in my room talking to a few people that I know. Instead, hopefully it'll be something that I can progress into helping people, and like I said, the highlight this the premise of this is highlighting people within the hospitality industry and kind of giving what I can in other ways. So I'm going to get into the sad news. The sad news is, like I said, it's more so for me than anybody else, is I'm taking a little hiatus from the shop. I spoke about in my podcast, if you go back and listen to it. If not, I'll obviously do a little recap now. And I guess it's quite convenient because it's Mental Health Awareness Week in the UK as well at the moment, or last week. So it's kind of highlighted a few things within my life. The podcast that I'm not particularly, no, I wouldn't say happy with. I'm very happy with the shop. I'm very happy with the progression. I'm very proud of everything that's been done and the work that I've put into the shop, the people that I've met, not just the work that I've put in, but like the staff that we've brought on board, like business partners that I've had, like the business partner, obviously, and director of the shop that is there, that started it, that is running it. Like I have 100% faith in everything in him, and very proud of everything that he's done, and very thankful for the opportunity that he's gave me in the shop, because I've grew a lot as a person, and not just because of the shop, but because of the people in it. They've given me a lot of time. They've given me a lot of patience. They've made me very thankful for the amount of work that they've put into there, because like without them, none of it would have been achievable, especially coming back after COVID. Getting the right staff members in, getting the right team that was kind of gonna help push our vision forward, and like that's always on the forefront of it is like how can we make that place better? How can we be the best we can be? And obviously that's my ethos with everything anyway. That's my ethos in everywhere that I've ever worked at, and that's, but unfortunately I can't give as much as I'd like to give. I snapped my Achilles 18 months ago, and since then I haven't really had the right rehabilitation in terms of strengthening my legs, my ligaments. Due to that, it's given me other problems like hip displacements, bad back problems, like ACL problems, problems with my feet and my heels, overcompensation on other sides. Like it just seems like a constant battle. It's something I thought after 18 months it wouldn't be an issue anymore, and unfortunately it seems to be one thing after another of just reoccurring sort of slight injuries and niggles that like affect me on a day-to-day basis. And it's kind of hard to like not just rehabilitate but build up the strength and be able to get to the gym when you are like on your feet so many hours working in the kitchen, like trying to do the best you can within a business, and trying to give everything you can, but your body's not letting you, and it makes it very difficult for me to be able to like continue to do what I do best in, I guess, in the shop. in terms of my skills, because obviously, like I said, I've been doing this for 20 years, and it's been it's been a roller coaster. Like it, I spoke about this on my last podcast, and it was in terms of like people looking after themselves in this industry, and especially like looking after their mentality and looking after their physical health from the off, and not neglecting it and not being like, oh, I'll sort that after, I'll sort that after, I'll sort that after, because I've done that for a very long time in pursuit of things that I've thought have made me or going to make me happy, and unfortunately, it's kind of sort of deteriorated my well-being in terms of my mental health and my physical health. Like you said, it's quite kind of a negative feeling when you can't apply yourself to something as much as you want to. So, kind of the reason why, like, I've had to make this decision to kind of like take a step back in the business and take a step back from working in the kitchen. It's very difficult. Like, it's been super emotional, especially the past week. Like I said, speaking to my business partner, speaking to my staff, speaking to my partner, like my loved one, speaking to friends and stuff like that, and just trying to get a bit of like not necessarily clarification as to what am I thinking, but just trying to let them understand. And I thought kind of doing this episode might kind of help that as well, really, because it helped my mentality, helped me kind of understand this a little bit better. So yeah, obviously, like I said, it's a bit of an impromptu one, but this is kind of what this is about. This episode's about is just letting people know like my intentions and everything moving forward, and kind of what I'm going to be doing. I can't say too much for the business because obviously I'm not going to be like too like forwardly involved with it to at the moment. I'm going to be taking some time out to, like I said, work on my physical health, work on my mental health. There's things that I want to learn and progress in, and to be able to add to the business in other ways, and hopefully that'll become like apparent as we go down the line. Like like I said, I don't want to speak too much for the business. I'm not the director, and at the end of the day, like we don't. Yeah, the unfortunate thing in an independent business is you never know what's going to happen, because there's so many little factors that kind of go into it, and so it would be kind of a bit redundant for me to kind of sit here and say, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, because I don't know. All I do know is that, like I said, like my business partner and the person who like started that business and has every aspiration to do great with it and to do the best like they can in Middlesbrough and with what they've got. And I believe that like everything will continue as normal, and like I fully believe that. And like that's kind of like I want everybody to just continue to support, like obviously off the ground, and to like, you know, it's going to be a bit of a difficult like sort of periods over the next sort of month or so, I guess, and readjusting and like staffing and things like that. And but I do believe that like the quality and the standards of everything that I go out, especially in the food side of things, because like I said, that's mainly my control anyway. Um, it is still going to be to the best quality. Like my business partner wouldn't let that happen anyway, regardless if I was there or not. He held the reins, and he did an amazing job when I snapped my Achilles. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's evident that that place continues without me, and like, oh, without anybody like me, to be honest with you, because he's does such a good job at managing it. So I'm really proud of him. I'm really proud of, like I said, the work that I've done. But at the moment, it's just not a case of being selfish. It's just a case of prioritizing my time and my mental health and my physical health to be able to give more, because at the moment I can't, and that's more damaging to myself, and it's more damaging to the business on a whole. Like I'm kind of just going to speak, truthfully on the terms of like when you work in a team, and especially a small team, like it's going to be, it becomes difficult when, like, personalities start to affect other people's, like, how they work, how it affect their mentalities, like starts to bring in sort of negative vibes, I guess, really. And that's the last thing I want to do in that business, is like, just because I might not think I'm in a good place doesn't mean that I have to bring anybody else down with me. And that would be the last thing I would ever want to do. Especially with the amount of hard work that's being put into getting it to where it is now. When I started that shop in 2018 in November, I started working there part time. I helped introduce, within the first month, like, me and the owner was sat working out new menus, and I was trying to facilitate like what could be done with the kind of skill level, the equipment I had, everything. And I knew that there was like an opportunity from the off. And then obviously it got, if you listen to the last podcast, it got into COVID, and there was an opportunity for me to like add value to that business. And feel like I added quite a lot of value, not just in terms of money, but in terms of like the culture, the quality, the different types of food that were available, like, that weren't before in Middlesbrough. And like, I guess this is where like the emotional side kind of comes in. So I do apologize if I'm a little bit croaky, but yeah, I'm not sad that I'm taking time off. I'm sad that I can't give more than I want to a place that I love so dearly. The people in it I love so dearly. And like I said, the biggest choice for me is, well, not the biggest choice, but one of the kind of the biggest reasons in my head is that I don't want to become a negative impact on anything, when at the end of the day there's other things in my life outside of that shop that are affecting my mentality and everything. So it should never affect anybody that steps foot in that place, because it's such a valued gem, like in Middlesbrough. And I feel like it would be if it was in any other city, in any other place, because like it's just got something so unique and so special to it. So yeah, that's the news. I'm just kind of putting it out there purely, especially for the people that are listening. Like I said, I know that this is going to be people that come to my shop. I've been absolutely overwhelmed lately with the amount of people that have came up to me, stopped me, and been like, "Oh, I've listened to your podcast," and it's people that I wouldn't expect. And like, that fills me with a lot of like joy and hope in other ways. And obviously, I started this podcast for a reason. I'm a very creative person, like very creative. I'm going to constantly keep referring back to like my last podcast, so I feel like you need to go back and listen to that. At some point, it might kind of explain a little bit more about me. But I've got other things that have kind of crept into my mind in terms of what I want from life. I've always been very passionate about art. I've always been a very creative person. When I started off the ground, I started making, like I said, merchandise, mugs, cups, tote bags. Kind of created like a nice branding that fitted around the town, and like, represented like not just the coffee shop, but like the town itself. And like I said, could be like replicated in any other town and kind of incorporated into. And that was something that, when we did it, it really fueled me and really like inspired me. I've always been big into designing, drawing, anything to do with art, photography, videography, doing food photography, doing little B-roll videos and editing and piecing them together is something I'm massively got into. If you're watching this podcast, you'll see that I've instantly it's like 4 episodes in, I've already like invested in a new camera, new little microphones and stuff like that, so I can take this on the road and make it a more convenient, more like travelable, I guess. I don't know if that's a real word, but more transportable. So I can go meet more people, so that I can like get out there and do this, like not on a full time basis, obviously, but on a more regular basis, and have and speak to more people. And yeah, basically, I want to use this opportunity. I want to use this um, opportunity to take the time to look after my health, to sort my digestive problems out, to work on my body, to not just rehabilitate but to rebuild, to sort out not just my physical but my mental health in terms of um, things that don't make me happy. Uh, don't want it to be a therapy session, and it's not really what this is about. It's just more about explaining the future of the podcast and stuff like that. But everyone has troubles, everyone has worries, everyone has traumas, everyone has things that affect them in life, and I've got a lot of stuff from when I was younger um, that needs addressing, need working on to kind of give me a bit of happiness. But with that being said, um, there's one thing in my life that I've never ever pursued to the fullest, and it's something that I've always been told by my friends, by certain people, but it was something I was never encouraged to do as a child, I guess. So like, I never thought I was really good enough to be able to do it growing up, and then, like I said, I didn't pursue it throughout my late teens and into my 20s. It's not something I pursued when I got into my 30s, and now I'm in my mid 30s, and I feel like if I don't do this now and do this for myself, then I don't know when I ever will. And that's something that kind of scares me. And it scares me more like the idea of never knowing than the idea of doing. And like I said, I've always changed and adapted, and I've always been willing to kind of take risks that other people haven't. And I kind of guess that's kind of where it's why I've got to where I am in life in terms of like being like part business owner, working in some amazing places, working my way up the ranks very fast, very quickly in the chefing industry. Like I said, I've always applied myself to everything I've ever done, but I've never applied myself to myself. And that this is where I feel like I need the opportunity to do that. I feel like I need to do this now before it gets too late, before I can't bank on myself. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to I'm going to bank on myself. I'm going to put myself out there in terms of design work for people like that want merchandise, that want apparel, that want anything like that really. Also with the videography side, like I said, I do like I do B-roll content. Like with this podcast, I'm going to speak about a few guests and stuff that I've got going, like coming on, and that I'm like so excited about to meet. And like, it's not the end of like this sort of culinary and hospitality era. I feel like it's like the beginning of something new that I can now offer in terms of like, instead of my skills with my hands and my body and like how quick I can adapt in kitchens and think on my feet and how quick I am to retain information. And like I said, obviously I run a kitchen, like quite a successful kitchen, that knocks out absolutely excellent food, and all made from scratch. And not a lot of like places, especially where I live, are doing that. Um, but my body doesn't work that way now, and but now it's time for me to use my brain and use my drive and my passion to help kind of like myself, to help my business, to help other people and help other businesses, and especially people that are just starting off. Like I said, been doing this. I've been essentially within a business for 5 years. I've been a part of it for 5.5 years since I started. I was involved straight away. Like I was helping the business grow. Like because at the end of the day, I love the people that were working there. I had full alignment with their vision, and now my vision's kind of in a different place. Um, just in terms of food, just in terms of working in the kitchen, um, being on the floor. I've done it for a very long time. It's took its toll, and but I'm excited. I'm sad, and I'm excited. I'm excited for a new chapter, a new journey, a new beginning. But being able to apply it, being able to apply it to what I know now, to what I know within this industry that I've literally been working in for so long now. I'm excited for where this, like I said, with this podcast, with the amount of people that I can meet, and the opportunities that it will hopefully bring in terms of, like I said, like them needing merchandise or apparel doing, them wanting some videography doing, some food or product photography doing, like the, I've got so many attributes that I can give, and then on top of that, being able to sit down with these people and talk about the industry and talk about my experience and talk and maybe guide them and give them some experience in, if they're struggling in certain ways, then like certain things that they can do now before it gets too late to be able to manage these things and to be able to cope better, or to be able to change or adapt their business in a way that kind of might make it a little bit more stable, a little bit more secure, a little bit more fulfilling for themselves. Because without that, like it's very difficult, on, like I said, on your mentality. And I don't want anyone to feel like that. I don't want anyone to feel like they're struggling. And like I said, if there's things that I can do to help, and it starts with a conversation, then I'm absolutely buzzing, because that's kind of why I joined the shop, was the amount of people that I met that were amazing. But then the demands of the business kind of drew me away from being able to be as attentive to people and being able to give my time to people. So in time, it started to, I started to resent it, I guess, in terms of like, oh, now I don't get to speak to these people because I'm too busy or whatnot. Or, and then they maybe start looking at you slightly differently. Like, oh, he used to give us his time and now he doesn't. And like, not that they think I'm any more important than them or anything like that, but now it can be perceived as rude or dismissive, or like you said, sometimes they might be stressed or whatever, and you might be a little bit short and sharp. And I know I can be. I'm a very hot-headed person. I'm a very, I'm going to use the word passionate, but yeah, like I wear my heart on my sleeve most of the time. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I guess that's the whole of it in terms of like the shop and me going on hiatus. I'm not going to go, like I said, into too much detail in terms of the business, because it's not necessarily my place to say so or do so now. Um, the off the ground will, you know, the business is transparent and it's open to everybody in the community, and like the reason why it works is because of that. So like I guess everyone will know what's going on as it goes along. And like I said, I don't expect the quality or anything to drop down. Like, I'll more than likely be popping in and making sure everyone's all right, and, getting a coffee and catching up with people in there. But hopefully I'll have a bit more time to actually, spend with the people that like I care about, rather than running around like a madman, wrecking my wrists, wrecking my hands, wrecking my feet, wrecking my knees. Yeah, I just want to get to being able to enjoy the place again, and the only way that I can do that is by detaching myself for a small period. Well, I don't know how long it's going to be for. I've got some small plans put in place for the next sort of 12 weeks. In a few weeks going forward, like I said, the business will kind of be as transparent as possible moving forward as to what they're doing in terms of like hours and staffing and stuff like that, because there'll be some small adjustments, but nothing too major. But yeah, I just wanted to go give them, like, obviously continue to give them 100% support while I'm not there, and just, yeah, because I know they're going to continue to be awesome without me, so it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Doesn't matter what I say here. This is just for me to make myself feel better and hopefully explain some stuff to some people. So I'm going to take a little short break, and then I'm going to get back into talking a little bit more about the future, talking a little bit more about podcasting, kind of what I've got going on with it and the plans with it, and a few guests that I've got going on and that I'm really excited about. Uh, I cannot wait. Like, the opportunities, and yeah, I'm gonna go back anyway. Peace. Hi guys. Gonna go back into it again. So, gonna reiterate just quickly. So, I'm not going anywhere in the next sort of couple of weeks, by the way. So if anyone's listening to this and they're like, freaking out, I'm not going anywhere in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a few weeks after that, before I kind of take this bit of time away. And yeah, so don't worry about that. So yeah, I was talking about future, talking about kind of what I'm going to be doing, kind of for myself, and like one of the reasons why is kind of I want to bank on myself a little bit. Want to put a little bit more into, well, not a little bit more, I want to put everything, absolutely everything, into my artwork, into being creative, into learning about social media marketing, learning about digital media marketing, learning about videography, editing more, all of that stuff, because obviously I want to apply it to this podcast, I want to apply it to other people's businesses, I want to apply it to making myself a business, because it's not. I know it's something that I will be good at. I know it's something that I can apply myself to. I am driven. I am passionate about. Every place I've ever worked at, I said once again my last podcast, I give 110% to, and even when I don't have 110%, at least I'm 100. And unfortunately, I can't give 100 to off the ground. And that's where the sad bit comes in for me. So I want to be able to give 110% to myself and to growing and um, to this change that's going to move forward. I started a t-shirt company at the same time as joining the business, and unfortunately I couldn't. Well, I said t-shirt apparel company. I wanted it to be an art collective of people that I knew and people that just wanted to with startups. So that's something I want to continue with that as well. Once again, that will hopefully fit into the theme of, I've got a sort of very specific style of drawing and designs that I do. I can tailor what I do to many different styles, but there is a specific one that I do enjoy drawing. It would be nice to have, multiple people getting work from what I do, what I want to do, and not just myself. So that would be nice to kind of tie the ideas of that into this. I use like an analogy of like everything that I've ever kind of like learned, and it's like everything I ever learn, like I don't forget about. I just put it on the shelf, and then when I need to, I might bring it back. And I feel like this is exactly what I'm doing with everything that I've ever learned throughout years and years of working in hospitality, working around food, working around people, with designing, with creating, with making videos, with just having a creative vision. And I feel like this is something where like I can help myself, help, like I said, other businesses, and help people, that other artists that want to kind of flourish and grow and kind of be like not just exposed to how good they are, but like recognized and like appreciated for it as well. Because there's a common theme with people who are creative, tend to doubt themselves, a lot. I think everybody does in general, no matter how successful you are as a person, in whatever you do. But I think it's a big theme in people that are attracted to the arts. You know, it's a hard industry to get into. It's going to be a super hard journey for me moving forward. I'm not under any disillusion about that whatsoever. Going to be so much work, but it's work up here in my head that I can apply, and I know I can. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm very nervous. I'm very scared. But I've never been afraid of a challenge at all, and like I don't think I ever will be. I've got an amazing life partner. That she's been on episodes before. That supports me 110%. She's had her hard times, and I've been there, and I've had my hard times, and she's been there. I'm going to say this is a hard time, just different, but it's time that I need, and like I said, it's time that I know I can give to others as well, and just generally be a nicer person, because that's what I think we should all be. But I'm not going to keep talking about that. I'm not going to go too much into that. I'll keep explaining stuff as the podcast goes on, and you'll notice stuff as like I get different guests on, and they tell their stories, and hopefully it'll inspire you guys, and I know it'll inspire me, because I'm just the type of person that gravitates toward people that have a dream and have a goal, bigger than themselves, like, because that's how I am. So yeah, I'm so looking forward to the people that are coming on. I think that's what I'm going to get into now in terms of like kind of tying up this podcast. I don't want to go on too long. It was just an impromptu explanation, something kind of helped me sort of not decompartmentalize, but kind of rationalize everything that's going on in my life, going on, with my mentality, and kind of adapting to this change that's going to happen. So I'm gonna get off the doom and gloom. I'm gonna get off any sort of misery, and I'm going to talk about some amazing people that are coming on. Because this is the whole point of this, is to highlight these people, and these are people that I speak to on a quite a often basis, and I wouldn't be getting them on. I wouldn't be excited about getting them on. I wouldn't be absolutely buzzing about getting them on, and already got notes written, got questions written, done background on. It's like journalism. It's honestly, it's awesome, but like not in a vindictive, horrible way where you're trying to find something out about somebody that's going to fuck them over. Instead, it's about find out about their background and kind of what inspired them to do what they do now, and what drives them forward in the future, and their goals outside of what they do as well, like in terms of their life, like what fulfills them outside of their work, their passions, in that sense, like what grounds them. So yeah, I think I mentioned, but I've been absolutely massively humbled by like the response from people. Like the numbers haven't been massive, and I don't expect them to be. This is only like the fourth podcast that I'm doing now. I'm hoping that, like, obviously the reach will get out with the more people that I get on, the further this goes, and obviously, like, subscribe, share, do all of that. Like, tell anybody that you think that would be interested, and not necessarily interested, because I've had multiple people that have like got me in my shop and being like, "Oh, I've listened to the podcast, by the way, that was absolutely amazing. Like, I loved listening to the stories about you and your missus, and like how I didn't know anything about burlesque, and like I didn't know it was all like absolute gritty and horrible. Like I thought it was all like la di da and fancy and everything." And so it's like each guest that I'm going to get on is going to have like a different background and a different perspective on life, and kind of, like I said, what drives them. Like it might inspire other people to kind of take that first step in the motivation to go, you know what, like I've wanted to do this for so long, but I've been scared, or like I've doubted myself, or whatever else. And like hopefully these people will give you a reason not to doubt yourself, because no one ever should. Like no one ever should doubt themselves. Everyone's got the capability to do anything they want. Sometimes they can do it by themselves. Sometimes they just need a little bit of help and support to get them to where they are. But whatever you want to do, you can achieve. You've just got to figure out a way, and hopefully put a plan in place. And when that plan doesn't go the way that you want it, don't be deterred. Just rethink, reevaluate, and attack again, because it's all about ups and downs, and that's what I guess I'm going to get from all these people, and especially with people that, like I said, going for their goals and dreams, because they're not linear, like, at all. Um, I know that. I know that with a business, because it's difficult. It's very, very difficult, and like I said, it's always something that you have to work hard towards. No matter what, even when you think you've got it, you've got to work hard towards. But yeah, I've got some absolutely class guests. Um, Absolutely amazing, amazing guests coming on. Uh, I was supposed to have two on this week. This is why I've kind of putting this one out quickly. And like I said, I wanted to explain a few more things in regards to like my personal life and my business. But guest wise, so I was supposed to have two on this week, recording two, sorry, and hopefully editing down and having one of them out by now. It didn't happen. Life gets in the way. Uh, you know, Especially when you run a business or you're striving towards something, and you can't, like I said, you can't let that deter you. You just plow forwards and you reevaluate, and that's what I've done with these guys. So hopefully next week I will be recording with Kyle Greenwood. He is a previous MasterChef Professionals contestant. He is a phenomenal chef, obviously, otherwise he wouldn't be on there. He wouldn't have even got through to the qualifiers if that was the case, and he ended up getting through to the quarterfinals. So I want to talk to him about that. But I also know him personally. We both went to the same catering college when we were younger. He's a little bit younger than I am. He's always been as passionate about food and took things to the next level in terms of like his culinary experience and what he's learned and what he's got to teach people. So yeah, going to get him on. We've got Daft. Obviously, we've got history. So I worked with his brother at one point. He's got close relations with somebody that I worked with at one point. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about Nectar Awards that we both went to, and he's just done again, like I think previously over the past couple of years. So we're going to get into all that. That's going to be amazing. I'm absolutely buzzing. Then we have a pretty new business, but something a little bit special, a little bit different. I've got an Afro-Caribbean restaurant owner coming on. Afro-Caribbean restaurant owner coming on from Newcastle, from Native Cave. I'm recording with them this week. That was kind of an unexpected one, but I'm very, very thankful to be doing it, purely because it's soul food with a difference. Like, it's not what you expect, and kind of after speaking to the owner on the phone and having a discussion about like what they want to bring in terms of like culture, it wasn't just about bringing their culture into Newcastle, but it was about immersing Newcastle into their culture as well, and not segregation. Instead, it was about uplifting, like I said, their culture, Newcastle's culture, incorporating both of them and bringing something that Newcastle doesn't have. It really doesn't. And like what they do is a vibe, like an absolute vibe. Like, it's a kind of seafood grill place. Like I said, it's Afro-Caribbean based though in terms of flavor profile. I can't wait to try a lot of their food. I'm hopefully going to be getting in the kitchen if they let me, and I'll be getting some videos done for them in return. So yeah, I can't wait to get them on. Obviously, we'll learn about their story and kind of like how they got into the business. I've got a little bit of background on them as it is, and I think you'll be really like pleased to listen to. And I think once again, it's just another side of this that's kind of like I don't want it to all just be coffee shops and coffee shop owners. I want it to be like a mix of a lot of different people from different backgrounds, from different cultures and different diversities. So I'm buzzing, absolutely buzzing. That's all I can say about that one. On that, after that, uh, I have two brothers. They're not just any two brothers. They're two MMA fighters from Middlesbrough. One currently holds a world championship in MMA in Cage Warriors organisation. The other one is fighting this Saturday. I think it's the 25th of May in Newcastle at the arena for another world title for Cage Warriors. So I'm going to hopefully, because I know how much hard work this lad's put in. I see him on a day-to-day basis. I see him and his brother, and I see how dedicated they are to this sport and to their passion in life. It is just everything they live for. And they're so funny. They've got so much charisma, and they take it seriously, but not too seriously. Do you know what I mean? Like, they like to have fun with it. They know, like, that it's about the journey. It's not about the destination. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, they'll get there, but it's about the people that they're meeting on the way and going to different gyms and learning different skills and different experiences. So I will have Harry and George Hardwick from Cage Warriors. I might have them on together. I might have them on separately. I'm thinking separately because I'd like to get a bit of a different perspective from both of them. But it might also be hilarious to have them on at the same time. So I might just record three with them. I might just do one singlet, and then one together. Just be, like I said, because I know that they're going to be absolutely amazing guests because they're just too funny, like too funny in personality. And they've got so much experience and stuff to talk about. And yeah, that's going to be unreal. That's something I'm really passionate about outside of, like I said, hospitality, is mixed martial arts in general. I got introduced to watching UFC probably within its first year of kind of being televised. My dad watched it, and I think when it was on Bravo or something. So I'm buzzing of these two guys on, and especially with them being from Middlesbrough, because they're just like represent the town I'm from in a sport that I absolutely love. So it's going to be amazing to talk to them. Keeping on the MMA theme, obviously if you're from, well, I wouldn't even say Middlesbrough anyway, because this guy's getting such a reach at the moment. He's absolutely class lad who's basically just kind of trying to do what I'm doing, but instead of the world of jiu-jitsu. So I'm going to be getting Reap on here, Reap Clothing, Reap Jiu-Jitsu, Cult of Reap, however you know him. My man Rick Baker, just, yeah, doing big things, man, like, and doing it right. Like, he's immersing himself in 100% in the culture. It's not a half-assing that he's trying to just pass off. He literally is training, working his way up the belt. He is putting on his own open mats, events. He is traveling up and down. He chucking the mats in the vans. Like, he's doing everything with it, absolutely everything, and he does everything with it. Like, he does the videography, he's interviewing people, he's doing podcasts, he does merchandise, he's making gis, he's making rash guards. It's not your typical man. Like, it's not your typical at all. And I'm buzzing to talk to him. Like, really, I'm going to be absolutely buzzing to talk to him, because, like, to some respect, I kind of look up to what he does. Like, once again, he's a lad from Middlesbrough. He had a dream, and he started off as one thing. It still kind of represents that, but he's tailored it to something that he's very, very passionate about. And, you know, with this journey that I'm going to be going on, it excites me to sit down and kind of talk to him and kind of, like, you know, work out what went wrong, what went right, and what keeps him going, man. Because, yeah, he's doing big things. and it's super exciting. And like I said, it inspires me to do big things as well. So big up to him, big up to Reap because they're unreal. And like I said before, I mentioned this is another person I'm going to have recording in the next sort of week or two as well. So I'm just going to have an influx of things coming out over the next couple of weeks, probably well the next month or so. Is hopefully have Lizzie, which is our coffee representative of Origin for Off the Ground, as well as hundreds of other coffee shops up and down the UK. They've got their own coffee shops as well as the most badass roastery, um, which is in Cornwall, but they've got central locations in London. They've just opened a place in Edinburgh, which I definitely need to go see because I've got friends that are up there. And yeah, she's been doing this for 10 years, man. Like, she's been in the coffee industry for 10 years. She's been representing people for so long. She gets to meet literally everybody that's starting up with a new business and has these dreams and has these aspirations. So she gets to talk to these people and gets to live with their, like, live through vicariously through their goals, I guess, and like it gets to see whether these places like succeed or fail. And I guess you'll have a lot of insight into like the ones that have done well and like the ones that could have, maybe succeeded if they had done other stuff, or maybe it was just a product of circumstance, COVID or whatever else has gone on. But yeah, she's got so much knowledge when it comes to the coffee industry, when it comes to farming. She's big into sort of, I guess, agriculture and growing stuff herself and really immersing herself into the entire culture of it. So she's gonna be awesome. She's gonna be absolutely class to have on. And once again, like with what I want to do in terms of meeting people and meeting all these new people, I want to do the same as what she does, but instead of working for a coffee industry, I just want to be able to go out and speak to these people on a week to week basis would be amazing, and just like getting to know their stories and, like I said, being able to offer my services in terms of my design work, maybe help with some sort of marketing, branding, like those types of things, videography, photography. But yeah, I think that's everything, guys. I think that literally is everything for this podcast. I hope it wasn't all too doom and gloom. I hope I wasn't too miserable with it. I am like I'm I'm scared, excited, nervous, happy, sad, like an absolute roller coaster of emotions. Because at the end of the day, like it kind of feels a little bit like a breakup at times. You know what I mean? But no, it's not. It's just the beginning of something new, and I'm so excited about it. So yeah, I hope everyone joins me on this journey. I hope everyone continues to support Off the Ground, and I hope everyone hopefully supports me. And if you can help, you know anybody that needs any work or wants to be on the podcast, or like you said, even if it's just kind of recommending this to people, and hopefully they'll kind of get the word out to people, because I feel like it's something I can apply myself to. I feel like it's something I've got a lot to give in terms of what I've got to offer for myself, what I've got to offer for other people. And yeah, love. Peace out.